7 a.m. on the west coast of Scotland. It's time for Callum Macaulay to kiss his triplets goodbye and set sail.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye. Just joining the boat for the next 28 days. You get to see a lot of the country and places, some of the lighthouses that you go to, some people would never see in a lifetime, and we get to go there in a helicopter.
Callum is a quartermaster, that's a boatswain, on the Pharos, which means lighthouse in Greek. This unique, powerful ship, which looks like a high-sea tugboat, is the flagship for Scottish lighthouses and beacons. Based in the port of Oban, it's specialized in the maintenance of everything linked to navigation in this particularly inhospitable coastal zone. The Pharos was built several months ago in Poland, but its crew has already lost count of the miles it's covered. The sentry of the Sea of the Hebrides is heading south, doing 14 knots. The ship is literally cleaving through the waves.
I went over to Poland to do buoy trials. I had not seen this ship, and we joined with a pilot. A pilot ship took us out to join this, and when you see it for the very first time, it's huge compared to what we're used to working with. When you see it for the first time, you know it's very large, and you're very impressed with what you see.
Nowadays, there are about 200 lighthouses in Scotland. But there are no more keepers to look after these buildings, which have been eaten into by the swell and the strong winds. The increasing sea traffic in the area means there are more and more buoys and beacons in the sea. These extra high-tech machines all have to be constantly repaired or replaced. The Pharos is an actual floating workshop. There are 30 people working on board, mechanics, welders, crane drivers. The sailors take turns every 5 weeks. On the deck this morning, Callum is checking that everything is going as planned.
Depending on where the buoys are, for as far as tide and weather, some of them get a lot more wear and tear than others. Some of them, if they're in quiet, sort of sheltered waters, the chain will last a lot longer. But as I say, if they're in a tidal area or bad weather, they need to be changed.
The helicopter of the lighthouses and beacons just landed at the bow of the Pharos. On the bridge, Alan, the captain, and Rob, the pilot, are analyzing the weather map. There's a big storm on its way.
We got an email this morning from the monitor centre in Edinburgh. We have a monitor centre who electronically monitors all the lighthouses, and there was a signal that the battery voltage was low at Skerryvore, so they've sent an email now to say that there's a problem there, so they need to have some technicians, so we need to get the helicopter out there. The weather governs everything. We have to get the forecast every day before we set out and decide what to do.
Just when it exits the natural shelter created by a string of islands, the Pharos runs into a major squall. Within a few minutes, the sea becomes very rough. Weather conditions may compromise today's mission. Nevertheless, the Pharos finds a new shelter and the helicopter takes off. It's on its way to the Skerryvore lighthouse. This lighthouse is considered to be one of the most beautiful in the world from an architectural point of view, but it's also one of the most difficult to get to. Rob, who is in control of the helicopter in winds reaching over 80 kilometers an hour, is going to try everything to land. But after having flown over it a few times, he gives up.
Skerryvore is a difficult lighthouse to land at. The helipad is at sea level and it's a quite exposed part of the coastline. When we get in there, you've got to be very careful with big Atlantic rollers coming in, heavy seas. So the window of opportunity to get onto Skerryvore is limited. It's also a tidal landing site, so it's really only suitable to land on at low tide. And as long as the sea state is calm, you'll get the buoys on.
We're now back on the Pharos, where Alan, the captain, still has to improvise in case of a cancellation, even with 26 years of experience. Callum is about to leave the ship to go to another lighthouse on the small island of Islay, which is famous for its numerous whiskey distilleries.
Today we've got one lift to go ashore to Unyielding lighthouse. Just a simple piece of machinery, a dehumidifier, and folk will come from ashore and set it all up. But our mission is just to put it ashore, land it, the helicopter will undersling it, we'll disconnect it, put it into the building, and then come away. That's the lighthouse we're going to. Rins of Islay. This key should open up all the padlocks for all the lighthouses. Just one single master key, all the padlocks are the same, hopefully. Houston, we have a problem. This one's not so bad, mind you.
Most Scottish lighthouses were automated at the end of the 80s. Since then, each lighthouse is visited once or twice a year by the sailors of the Pharos. When a breakdown is detected or when a light goes off, engineers and electricians are sent on the spot as quickly as possible, usually by helicopter.
At that time, the old ships were built for lighthouse reliefs. When all the lighthouse keepers used to be on the lighthouses, and the ship would go out to the lighthouse. Very fine-lined, good sea ships, and all the work would be by boat. And they would lower the boat with the lighthouse keeper, take the lighthouse keeper into the lighthouse, and come back with for his duty period, and take the one who's going on leave back to the ship. And this sounded to me like a job that I would like to do. It was interesting and it was exciting, with being in small boat work in this quite rough weather sometimes, because always the lighthouse keeper, he would want to go home no matter what the weather was like.
This time, the Pharos is heading west. It's getting dark, and the crew is looking for a beam of light. For sailors, a white light means the course is clear and that there's no reef ahead. However, when the light turns red, there is an element of danger.
The computer is holding the ship in position until it's dark enough for us to sector the light and just check that the bearing is correct.
Five and a half. 356 and a half. Right at 357 and a half.
We provide a service for the safety of all mariners, the safety of all users of the sea. And if we don't do our job, then we're not confident they're going to have the safety at sea. Because for all the modern navigation systems, if they fail with a computer blip, you still need to get the charts out, you still need to take your bearings and know where you are. And without our lights, people wouldn't be able to do that.
It's been 4 days since the last try to land at the Skerryvore lighthouse. So far, the batteries are still going strong. But this morning, in the headquarters of Lighthouses and Beacons in Edinburgh, there is bad news. The worst is to be feared. There is no way this lighthouse can go off. The orders are clear. They must find a way to get there. On the Pharos, the Coast Guard's radio is forecasting a storm with force 10 winds. The ship finds shelter again in a bay, and the helicopter takes off from the foredeck. Rob, the pilot, is going to attempt the impossible by dropping 2 technicians there to repair the breakdown.
Many years ago, this is maybe 30 years ago, on not too rough a day, on quite a calm day, I'm told, an Atlantic roller came in and smashed into some cliffs and threw up a lot of water, and it hit the helicopter and it just put it over the edge of the helipad, so they lost the helicopter. So you've got to be very careful there. You can't shut the machine down, you can't leave it, you keep motors running, buoys out, doors shut, and up as quickly as possible.
Mission accomplished. The 2 lighthouse and beacon engineers will probably spend several days in the Skerryvore lighthouse to repair the breakdown. On the Pharos, the team is relieved.
Hello, my friend.
How are you doing? Did you have a good leave?
Good chips here.
Chips again.
And burgers up the bum, man. I don't know what that
How am I going to lose weight with this?
Oh, no, I'm the same.
When you're going home, if you've been away and you're in ship life, going back home, you need to try and change and get back into the home life way of things and get used to just the wife bossing you about more than like when you're here. You kind of suit yourself, you know. You're like a bachelor again, living in a 1-bedroom flat.
I'll go with the sheep. Good. You're working for me. Go ahead.
After 2 weeks of sailing on the Sea of the Hebrides, the Pharos is finally on its way back to the port of Oban. Callum, the boatswain, is about to go home for the night. His crew will be waiting for him, just like his wife is right now.